The 2022 Minnesota Vikings season was absolutely a wild ride. It was worth the cost of admission, and coming in first-year head coach, first-year general manager, and getting together for one last ride, apparently, as it turned out. And the Cardiac Kids did it over and over and over again. Come from behind wins, exciting games in the fourth quarter, just snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. And I know a lot of Vikings fans were actually upset. It was like, oh, they're not winning big, oh, point differential, all that stuff. Where the last couple of years of the Zimmer regime, 2020, 2021, the Vikings were losing all these close games. But then the Vikings started winning these close games, and it's not enough. It's not impressive enough. It's not impressive enough. But I digress. Hey, a win is a win is a win, and the Vikings were a ton of fun. But Warren Sharp over at Smart Football, he pointed out an interesting stat that really showed how much the Vikings had to come back in the fourth quarter. So, lead entering the fourth quarter across all games. So, what was the score after three quarters heading into the fourth, right? So, up at the top, you got Buffalo, Philly, the Niners, Chiefs, the teams that you would expect, killing it, establishing their dominance in the first three quarters and cruising to victories, right? But going down in the early round, like how low are the Vikings? You're thinking like, okay, middle of the table. No, not so much. Oh, we're still going. Oh, we're still scrolling. So the Vikings were third worst in the league in terms of the score head into the fourth quarter at negative 87 points. And the team still had a winning record. So they won 13 games. So this should just reinforce the ludicrousness of what went on this Viking season, and getting into it where yes, people make a big deal about point differential. Probably the first time that you've heard about point differential was last year when the Vikings were reeling off these wins. But it's like, oh, whoa, what about the points? And yes, the Vikings ended up 15th in the league last year with a negative 3 point differential, just behind the Dolphins and the Packers. Packers didn't make the playoffs, by the way, but the Vikings still got 13 dubs, no big deal. And what's insane is that no team that won 13 or more games had less than a plus 100 point differential. So Kansas City and Philly both won 14 games, and Kansas City was plus 127, which is just kind of crazy. And again, it was more, the Vikings got jacked and in a couple of games where the games that they lost by a lot. The games that they won by not a lot. So I actually don't think it's more, I don't think it's really indicative of it being a fluke. I just think they got boat raced in a couple of games. You look at Philly, you look at Dallas, you look at allegedly the second Green Bay game, and go from there, man. Just go from there. But so this is the point differential headed into the fourth quarter of all of these games. So the Vikings were up 13 points on the Packers week 1. No big deal. They were down 14 points heading into the fourth against the Lions week 3. Came back and won. Down 3 against the Commies. Won. -7 against the Bills. That was a huge comeback, but it got started earlier in the half. They were down by 3 against the Patriots. Came back and won by a touchdown. They're down -22 points against the Colts, which I don't know. We all know how that ended up. Just a lot of fun, man. 22 unanswered in the fourth quarter, and then that 3 right at the end in OT. And yeah, there's a big reason why Kirk Cousins tied the NFL record with 8 fourth quarter game-winning drives / comeback wins. And they're sprinkled throughout here. Detroit, the Saints game, the Bears, Washington, Buffalo, Patriots, Indy, and of course the Christmas Eve Giants game. Right, but it's just so funny because, I mean, 2022 was such an anomaly. Well, actually, don't want to say an anomaly. It was just a ludicrous sequence of events during the season where the Vikings, they found their ass in the sling again, but it speaks to resilience. And I think that's something that's really important to have in a team where, hey, things didn't go our way to start the game. First 3 quarters, first half, whatever. Whether it's self-inflicted wounds, whether it's just the ball bounces funny sometimes, and it is what it is. But what can we do right now? What can we do to make a play right now? One play, one drive, one score at a time, and then let's claw our way back into this game. I love that attitude, man. And the Vikings, frankly, did not have it in 2021 and 2020. And also the whole, hey, Patrick Peterson halftime of the Colts game. All we need is 5 touchdowns. Maybe some of it was tongue-in-cheek, but also it was also a statement of fact. and they believe. And I think that, especially with a lot of young guys in the locker room last year, now having to step up and be leaders with the purging of some veteran talent, it's a good mentality to have. That no matter what happens, no matter what the score is, no matter how badly you got punched in the face early on, you can come back. Like it's never too late. It's not too late. So I love that mentality, but it's still funny. It's still funny, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. 2022 Vikings were indeed the comeback kids. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. Bunch of next time. Skol, production value.